Welcome into today's show. We are going to be going over 10 breakout candidates after Green Bay Packers minicamp is all wrapped up. I'm going to be giving you 10 players that I feel like are going to have a breakout season in 2025. Before we get into that list, though, make sure that you guys have those notifications on. If you guys want to be a real one, it starts with subscribing, and after you've done that, you got to get those notifications on. We got 697 cheeseheads that are already in what we like to call the Noti Gang. My goal is to get 750 of you guys in it after today's video. What you do, subscribe to the channel, click that little bell icon, and then turn on all, and then enable YouTube notifications, okay? I need as many people in the Noti Gang, as many real ones in the Noti Gang. So if you feel like you're a real one right here on the Pack Report, turn on those notifications. Let's start with a guy who we've actually talked a ton about over the last couple of weeks, but we've pretty consistently talked about him in trade rumors. Now let's talk about him breaking out, okay, in the actual, play on the football field. Let's talk about Romeo Doubs. The past 3 years have been good. Nothing jaw-dropping. There's been a couple of times where, you wish he'd make a few more catches, wish he wouldn't have as many drops, but still 2 back-to-back seasons with over 600 yards receiving. I'm not going to be upset about that. But there is something to take into account when it comes to this next season. It's a contract year for Romeo Doubs. And whether that means re-signing with the Green Bay Packers or signing somewhere else in free agency, he's going to want to make that money. He's going to want to get that second contract, which, if you're talking statistically, usually is the last big one for any player in the National Football League. So that's why I feel like he's going to have a breakout this year. And also everything we heard from mandatory minicamp. Everything we heard from the leadership position he's taken, even though everybody in the outside world seems to want to trade him. He's had a great offseason, and he looks like he's going to be really, really great in 2025, even in this really crowded wide receiver room. I want you guys to take a guess for me. Do you think the Packers re-sign Romeo Doubs after the 2025 season, next offseason? Let me know in the comment section down below by giving me a yes or a no. Nate Hobbs is my second breakout player that we're going to talk about today. Nate Hobbs got signed to free agency and was given a pretty important position, right? He was going to be that nickelback spot, that slot corner. Well, Jair Alexander decided to test free agency, didn't want to sign that restructured contract. And so then Nate Hobbs is now one of the team's most important players on defense because he's playing in that outside cornerback role. And the good thing, he's already looked pretty good doing it. Jordan Love said bringing a guy like Nate Hobbs in, who's got experience as well. We'll see what he ends up doing, whether it's nickel or corner, but he looks good so far. He's a very physical corner, nickel or wherever they put him. The more we get around him, the more we keep seeing him. The first start I've seen, he looks pretty good. So everything so far during training camp is pointing towards him having a really good season, pointing towards him being a really key piece in this defense. And they're going to need that, okay? They signed him for a certain role. Now, because of the changes in that depth chart, he's not going to be playing that role. He's going to be playing a bigger one. We'll see if he's up to the challenge. Up next, let's flip it over to the offense again. Let's talk tight ends. How about Luke Musgrave, okay? This is a guy that I'm super excited about just because of the amount of athleticism that is within his body, okay? What I love about Luke Musgrave is, yeah, he plays that tight end position. Yeah, he's really, really big, but he seems like a little bit more of a wide receiver with his skill set. I mean, look at that one-handed catch last year. And no, in practice. And last season wasn't anything to write home about. 7 catches, 45 yards in 7 games. We all know that he was dealing with that ankle injury that he ended up having surgery on. But I have a feeling that Luke Musgrave is going to take a massive jump in year 2. Not just because of his attributes, but also because I expect Tucker Kraft to take a really big jump from last season onto this one, even though he was phenomenal last season. And when you're in that tight end position, especially with this team who runs a lot of 12 personnel, meaning there's 2 tight ends out on the field. When you have a tight end above you in the depth chart like a Tucker Kraft, it only helps you become better because there's less attention on you. And Luke Musgrave is a guy who's incredibly athletic and can bite some defenses because of that. Talking defense, let's talk Isaiah Simmons. I know we discussed Isaiah Simmons in yesterday's video ad nauseum, okay? He was the entirety of yesterday's video. But that's just because I'm really, really excited about what he'll be able to do with this team, because this team, Jeff Hafley in particular, are fitting to his skill set. Simmons had this to say. He said, what I ran into most in my career is everybody wants me to do everything, as opposed to letting me get really good at one thing first. I fully believe in Haf's plan, Jeff Hafley. He's letting me just lock in and learn a small portion first before we even think about expanding to anything else. That's something I really appreciate, because I never really had that opportunity to really just hone in on one position. It's hard enough to get into the NFL, let alone stay, as well as being effective at a position. So just being able to lock in on one thing, that's been, I feel like, huge for me. And I think because of that, we're going to see a brand new Isaiah Simmons. Okay, this is a guy who every stop he's been, every defensive coordinator he's played for, has been really excited about his athleticism, has been really excited about his skill set. And they've wanted to throw 1,000 different things at him. Line him up in the edge, put him at linebacker, put him at slot, put him on the outs. Like, they want to put him everywhere. And he's been thrown a lot, and it's kind of been hard for him to, get a system down and really learn one position. Jeff Hafley's taken that approach where, hey, you're a linebacker first. And if you get that, and if you get that well, then we'll add on to that. I want you to shout them out in the comment section down below. Name a breakout player for the Packers in 2025 in the comment section. I've already named 4. I'm about to name 6 more. I need you to name 1 for me. Micole Hardman is a guy I'm going to throw on this list. And if you would have asked me who was going to be on this list like 4 weeks ago, I probably would have said Nate Hobbs. Maybe would have said Isaiah Simmons. Maybe would have said in my top 5 as well. Mecole Hardman, I would not have guessed, okay? And it's because of the way that he ended so many of these mandatory minicamp practices. From June 10th, this is last Tuesday, Mecole Hardman snagging an 11-yard touchdown pass from Sean Clifford as time expired in the 2-minute drill. And then the play of the week, 74-yard touchdown, uncorked. Jordan Love, Lukas Van Ness in his face. Mecole Hardman over the shoulder, beat everybody else to the end zone. Touchdown Packers. Now, I don't think he's going to be near the receiver threat that he's been in practices so far, just because the amount of wide receivers I think might be above him in the depth chart. But everything he's going to do, from special teams to being a really good depth piece at receiver, I think he's going to have a really, really good year for him. Take a massive step back from where he was last year. Coming up next, I got 5 more Packers breakout candidate targets to talk about. 5 more players I think you need to keep an eye on for the 2025 NFL season. Before that, make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel, okay? I'm going to give you 5 reasons why. Daily Packers coverage, news, rumors, and analysis every single day on the channel. During the season, we'll go live for every single game. The best part is a two-way conversation. We involve you, the fan. It's all 100% free, okay? If you guys have not yet, do it today. Lock us in for the rest of the offseason and continuing into the 2025 season as well. Let's talk about Matthew Golden, a guy I know you've been waiting on pins and needles for me to talk about in this episode, and everything coming out of OTAs and everything coming out of minicamp has pointed to him being special. Andy Herman tweeted, everything Matthew Golden does just looks natural. Routes, catching, returning, just born to do it. And I firmly believe that Matthew Golden is going to be just who the Packers need. I think he's going to be everything that they wished he was when they spent their 23rd overall pick on him. First time doing that with a wide receiver since the early 2000s. That's a big deal. It's obvious they like what they've seen in Golden, and I think what he's shown in minicamp proves to everybody around him that he could be a guy that breaks out this next year. Lukas Van Ness. Let's talk defense, okay? I think he's going to have a really, really big season, okay? Everything that I saw from mandatory minicamp is kind of pointing that way. First off, he just looks fantastic. Like, he looks big. Looks like he's added even more weight than he already had. And before that, he even looked like Captain America. And Matt LaFleur said that LVN will get more looks on the inside this season. I think he's just going to become a little bit more of a dynamic player on defense for Green Bay. What he's done on the edge over the past couple of years hasn't been anything incredibly special, but I think he's going to be utilized more. I think he's going to move a little bit more to the inside, get to use that strength, get to use that power, and because of that, I think he's going to be a massive weapon. Let's talk offensive line. And I get it. I know it's hard to name an offensive lineman as a breakout candidate because they don't really have statistics. Let's just be honest. But in the subject to being honest, Jordan Morgan was not great last year, even when he did play, right, before the injuries. He was not phenomenal. He wasn't what you would have wanted or expected out of your first-round pick from the year before. However, I think the move to left tackle is going to be something that really, really benefits him, okay? I think he's a natural tackle. I don't think guard is his natural position. And I know that him and Rasheed Walker are battling it out during minicamp. They're going to battle it out in training camp. And if he wins that job, I think it's going to be a perfect fit for him. Let's talk running backs. Another guy we talked about just yesterday. How about Marshon Lloyd? I think he's going to break out as much as a running back 2 can break out, okay? So hear me when I say that. I'm not expecting 1,000 yards from him, but I'm expecting for him to be healthy all season because right now he said I'm doing really good, can run as fast as I can, jump as high as I want, can catch the ball. He's 100% for the first time in some time now, okay? All those things are great. And because of that, if he's a guy, like I said yesterday, gives me 200 yards on the ground, 200 yards to the air, he's going to be doing exactly what this team needs him to do and exactly what I would want him to do. You want Lloyd to stay fully healthy? He had trouble doing it last season. If you want it to be different this time around, do me one big favor. Don't jinx it and like today's video. Let's wrap things up with Edgerrin Cooper, a guy I've talked a ton about over the offseason, a guy I'm going to continue talking about because I love talking about what he's going to be able to do in his skill set. I think Cooper might be the defensive MVP in 2025. And I don't mean for the National Football League. I just mean for this team. I think when you look back on the 2025 season, Edgerrin Cooper is going to be a big reason if this defense has success, okay? He's added 20 pounds, which I think is great, but also at the same time, some people can worry, he's such an athletic guy. Is that going to take away a little bit of that from? No. Apparently, from Matt LaFleur, he's kept every single bit of athleticism that he already had. And then he just added weight to go on to that, okay? Expect a special year from number 56. We're going to get on out of here. Make sure you guys got me on Twitter and on Instagram as well, at Joey Petersen on both of those platforms. And make sure you subscribe right here to the channel, Daily Packers coverage for your favorite team. Lock us in, and we'll see you next time.